Good morning, it's a wonderful Wednesday, and you are now listening to Prepper Talk Radio here on AM 630.
Did you say Wednesday or did you say Friday?
I think I said Wednesday, didn't I?
You did say Wednesday.
It's Friday. Man, I'm still not used to this new schedule.
But hey, the traffic is much nicer an hour later
Absolutely.
than an hour earlier.
So tune in, listen in. You can follow us on our Facebook feed and our social media at Prepper Talk Radio. Really easy to find, really easy to follow. Lots of fun information, good, cool stuff. And today we're talking all things PrepperCon. And the coolest thing is we've got some really cool guests. We're going to introduce one of those right now. But before we jump into that, I want to remind you that we're brought to you by Survival Medical. They're going to be at PrepperCon. One of the main sponsors for PrepperCon this year is Survival Medical. So check out their gear. www.survival-medical.com. It is First Aid Evolved. So without further ado, let's talk gear. Let's get into it. We've got a really cool guest today.
I'm a gearhead. I'm more than a gearhead. I'm a gear freak.
Yeah, Shane is quite the gear freak.
Or call me the super freak if you'd like to.
And we have another super freak on the phone. We've got Byron. Byron is with Survival Frog. Byron, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining the show today.
Yeah, you bet.
So it looks like we're getting a little feedback on your phone a little bit, but there we go. Are you there?
I am. Is that better?
All right, a little bit better. So you are the big guy over at Survival Frog, is that right?
Well, there's a whole team of us here, but I am the CEO and owner of the company.
Now, you guys have been around for quite a while, and I see a lot of cool gear coming out, like the Survival Frog bivy bag. But what are some of the other well-known products you guys have that you guys are going to be bringing to PrepperCon this year?
Yeah. Well, we've got over 500 different products on our website, so we're certainly the one of, if not the single largest supplier of prepper survival type gear. Some of the gear we'll be bringing to PrepperCon include the bivy bag, which you mentioned.
Yep.
Also, another top seller for us that's very popular is our pocket jumper. And
yeah, you told me about that. Okay, so what is the pocket jumper for our listeners?
I don't even know what the pocket jumper is.
Yeah, it's a really cool tool. So it's a battery pack, fits in the palm of your hand, and it comes with jumper cables that you can then jumpstart a car.
Okay.
So you can jumpstart 20 cars on just one charge.
What?
From
Are you
the
kidding
pocket
me?
Jumper.
Isn't that awesome?
20 jumps?
And how long will it store the charge?
It's rated for 6 months. Although I'd probably say, I charge my own like every 4 months just because I don't want to bring it right to the edge of that 6 month period.
Smart.
And it'll still have a charge after 6 months, but it won't be full. And so we're saying 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing this on your site now. Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. So we're pretty lucky to know Byron and to know what you guys are doing over there. For those of you who aren't familiar with Survival Frog, they're one of the largest online retailers. I'm going to say this, one of the largest, one of the coolest. A lot of the different online retailers you go to, it's so much stuff it's hard to kind of find what you're looking for. Survival Frog's not just gear, but it's content driven, so it's easy to understand what the gear does. So if you're looking for something, it's really fun to find it on their website because it actually explains what it does. Or instead of just product description, hey, it's 5 inches by 7 inches.
Right, yeah, that's just the lamest descriptions.
Yeah, so kind of what spawned the whole idea to do Survival Frog for you?
And you're going to have to tell me why it's called Survival Frog, too, because it's
Sure,
a unique name.
Yeah, it is. And that's the primary reason. It's just something unique, something memorable, something that isn't doomsday, death type game. I don't know. So, our website, we started as a publisher of information, so an info publisher. Been in business for over 8 years, almost 9 years now. And so we initially started by producing books and CDs and videos, and so very content heavy. And when we made the shift over to physical products, that just kind of followed us. In other words, it isn't just, like you said, it's 4 ounces and it's 12 inches long or whatever the specs are. We really try to give information on how it can be used, why it's needed, where, would you put it in your bug-out bag, where would you keep it, things like that. And it's very well received with our members because they like that feel, and you're getting more than just a product. You're getting information behind it.
Awesome. So that I think that's really what answers what my big desire is. So people understand the product,
and not just, hey, here's a product, buy it.
Yep.
Here's the whole reasoning why you need this particular product, or why you've chosen it to have it as one of your offerings. I find that extremely important.
Well, I think one of the funner things is, so usually when I start looking for specific products, I end up having to go all over the web. Search a bunch of different places, and then I end up on YouTube and look for product reviews. If you go to Survival Frog, it's all right there. You can understand what it does, why it does it, why it's a good value, and what makes sense for you, and then go from there.
Yeah, and you mentioned something there, reviews. That's very important to us. And many of our products have dozens of reviews. And so you're able to not just even see, okay, nice, five stars or whatever it is, but actually read the comments from actual users. And some of our products are 4 stars or 3.5. So even, you get the good and the bad. And reviews are very important to us. We post the bad ones as well as the good ones and let you decide, what's important to you as far as that product goes.
That's nice to know. Hey, one thing I saw on your front page that I absolutely have to have now is one of these Tesla lighters. Tell us a little bit about what this Tesla lighter is.
Yeah, you bet. That's a really neat product. So instead of, it's a lighter, so whether you light a cigarette or whether you're starting a campfire or however you need a spark or a flame, the Tesla lighter does not use gas. And so instead of gas, you plug it in. And a charge lasts, I forget the exact terms on specs on it, but it's like, the thing will last 6 months. Unless you're just constantly using it. So
it recharges from a USB cable. So you plug it in wherever you charge your phone, right? So it's always going to be charged. You can always have it charged. And I think it says 300. You can I guess ignite it 300 times.
300, yeah.
For a charge, something like that. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it's one of our more popular products, and besides the functionality of it, it's just really cool.
Just to show.
It's not a flame. You actually don't see a flame.
Right.
You see an arc.
Kind of like
arc.
Kind of like a zapper,
like a taser.
Yeah.
Taser, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, we don't promote it this way. But if you were to try to zap someone, or even zap yourself, or get your buddy to zap himself, it hurts. I mean, it's not going to put you on the ground, but it'll set you back.
It'll change your mind sometimes.
I know you've been wanting to try that, Scott.
That's true. Well, we're excited. We're really excited for having you guys over at PrepperCon. Now, what are you guys bringing to the show this year? And I know it's your first time coming. You do a lot of different shows all over the nation, but what is it that you guys are going to be bringing to showcase for all the people that are going to be at PrepperCon?
Yeah. Well, we'll have a lot of our top sellers there for people to buy. But I'm telling you, we're bringing a lot of product to give away. In fact, upwards of $14,000 worth of product. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
that's huge.
We're going to be bringing a lot of free products that we'll be giving away. And these products are all products that we sell on a daily basis on our website. But some of the products we'll be giving away, one is our paracord grenade.
Those are
and
cool.
You've probably seen something similar to this, but this one is the best out there. It's paracord, so it's 550 paracord, 7 strands, and it looks like a little grenade. And wrapped inside of it, or what's inside of the wrap, is 9 different survival tools. And everything from, fishing hooks to fishing line to fire starter to magnesium rod. The carabiner comes with it. It's a really cool little package.
Yeah, it's only $9.
We'll be giving away hundreds of those.
Oh, wow.
Really? So how are you going to give these away there at PrepperCon?
You just walk up to your booth and give it away.
So
yeah, we're not going to ask for your email. I mean, we'll have a little kiosk, so if you want to sign up for our newsletter, that's great. But just walk up, we'll give it to you. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to give us your email or whatever. So it's just a freebie. We just want you to take a look at it, and our website's in there, so hopefully you come back, and
very cool.
And that's the way we do business. We want to wow you first, and then hopefully you come back, tell your friends.
I'll tell you, I'm already wowed. And to be completely honest with you, I had not heard of Survival Frogs.
What?
I hadn't heard of Survival Frog up until the last, 6 months or so. And I'm absolutely thoroughly impressed with the website and what your offerings on here, and want to encourage, if anybody needs a one-stop shopping location online, this is a great site, absolutely great site.
Well, I think the funnest thing is it's gear you can actually use, not just for preparedness. It's all crossover gear. I mean, you can use this for adventure, for camping, hiking, backpacking. There's all multi-use gear, and that's what we in the prepping industry really geek out about. Mm-hmm. And you guys are going to be at PrepperCon. You're going to be on the main aisle, kind of by the north end of the building, by the north stage. Now, one of the cool things about PrepperCon this year, we're giving away about 20,000, probably about 25,000 worth of stuff. That doesn't include what you guys are going to get at the Survival Frog booth. So make sure you check in with Byron. Are you going to be there with your team, or are you sending a team?
My team will be there, and I will also be there. But I'll be there Friday.
Okay, cool.
So my one day is Friday, but my team will obviously be there the whole time. Very knowledgeable in our product line. So strike up a conversation. We love to chat about this stuff. This is what we do day in and day out.
Awesome. Well, we are so excited to have you there. What do you think is the most, I guess, forgotten or overlooked preparedness item people need to be taking consideration for as they get ready for PrepperCon?
Well, I think so many people focus on the gear, and I get it. It's cool. Right? It's really cool to have this kind of gear out there. And so while that's important, I often see people not thinking enough through water.
Mm-hmm.
Food's another one, but certainly water, because let's face it, the gadgets or the food, I mean, you can go a few days, a week, or whatever, but water is so critical. And we have a lot of different water filters, a lot of water storage containers, some that you can easily walk with and stack like Legos. We have this product called Water Brick.
Nice.
Really cool product.
Yep. I highly recommend that one. For those of you that are apartment dwellers, check out the Water Brick at survivalfrog.com.
They stack, so you can stack them up in a closet in the corner. They also slide underneath most beds, so very easy to store, and they don't leak.
It looks like they're easy to fill and refill as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. Yeah, quick story. I used to buy just store-bought water bottles, and I keep those in my house, and they leak. And sometimes it just takes, a year or two, but I found that those leak, and I ruined one of my areas of my hardwood floor in my kitchen. I was like, crap. So from then on, I didn't use any store-bought water jugs. It's all, heavy-duty water jugs for me, because, you got to keep your water in there.
Awesome.
Another category I see here on your site that we try and hit on a regular basis is hygiene. It's very important, especially whether you're camping or whether you're in an emergency situation. Hygiene is extremely important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And to some degree, that's almost a comfort type thing.
That's
because in a disaster situation, you got to have your basics and everything. But when you get the basics covered, sure, it's nice to just kind of be clean and brush your teeth and have those basics covered as well. Keeps your family happy.
Awesome. Well, we're about out of time. We want to thank you so much for being on with us. Remind us all, what is your website?
The website is survivalfrog.com. Real simple. And, I'm super excited about PrepperCon. We're bringing a ton of free gear. We'll also have a lot of our top sellers for sale. If anyone wants to stop by, check them out. We'll be doing demos there. So real excited to be hanging out with you guys there.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you there. You guys, make sure you go buy your tickets for PrepperCon online. Get them there because it's going to be cheaper. You'll also be able to bypass the check-in lines. You'll go right to the door, get your wristbands, and walk through. Check out Survival Medical there at PrepperCon. We're excited to have them there. And thank you so much, Byron, for being on the show with us today.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Byron. We'll see you then. So don't forget to be there early, the 21st and 22nd, to get your survival card, your Ready Man PrepperCon Wilderness Survival Card. The first 250 through the door each day will get a free survival card. So get your tickets online. And don't forget also our sponsor, Survival Medical, survival-medical.com. The only first aid kit tougher than nature. Catch you guys after the break.
The all-new K-Talk Media. Online at ktalkmedia.com.
Well, welcome back to Prepper Talk Radio. And yes, it is Friday. I have learned from my mistakes.
Thank goodness it's Friday.
And we're brought to you by Survival Medical, survival-medical.com. Check them out. They'll be at PrepperCon, but check out their website. Kind of sneak peek, preview everything, because guess what? It's going to be on sale. Don't tell everybody I told you that, but it's going to be on sale. They do a lot of cool promotions at PrepperCon. They're one of the coolest products out there. We love them. Long-term shelf life. And
I need more.
PrepperCon is coming up April 21st and 22nd here at the Southtown Expo Center in Sandy, Utah. It's 9575 South State Street. Get your discount tickets at preppercon.com/tickets, and you'll save a few bucks. If you wait till the door, it'll cost you more.
And we appreciate you listening to us and listening to what we've got coming up at PrepperCon, because we're so excited about this. We love PrepperCon. I mean, this is our roots. This is where we started from, and we want to give all of our sponsors and all these great people who are coming to our expo as much exposure as possible, because we think they're great and we think you guys need to hear about them. That's why we have them on. I mean, we don't want to sound like a commercial. We don't want to. That's not what we're about. We're about content. So we want you to learn what's important, what's not, frankly.
Absolutely.
And so if you don't, if we get into a topic and we don't want you to change the channel,
and feel free to call in with questions for the guests today, because we've got a couple different guests. The next guest is actually Sean Palm from Zero Impact Living, and he's actually one of the vendors at PrepperCon. Really cool guy.
Been there every year.
Yep. Let's go ahead and bring him on the line now. Sean, are you there, buddy?
How are you guys?
Hey, we're getting a quiet connection from you, so if you can speak up just a little bit.
Is that any better?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. That's better. Very good.
Well, welcome to the show, Sean.
How are you doing? Thanks for having me on.
You are welcome. We're excited. We're doing really good. We're getting amped up for PrepperCon. We've got 2 weeks to go from today, and you guys are going to be there, and you guys have been there the last couple of years. But before we get into that, I've had this question, and I've been meaning to ask you this for years. Where did you come up with your name, and why?
Well, Zero Impact Living is the name of our company. We have a couple of different companies that we actually brought together to form Zero Impact Living. One of those was, first and foremost, was a humanitarian organization, and we've made a bunch of trips to Africa and Haiti. And then another organization that actually was in Africa and Ethiopia, and then a company here in the U.S. that was doing distribution of emergency preparedness products. And so originally we got together and were able to provide emergency preparedness products for humanitarian organizations in other countries to help, for example, in Haiti after an earthquake, in Ethiopia we're helping to provide emergency water through a organization that provides for schools. And so clean water, and it helps them out, and then part of the proceeds from our business here go to all the humanitarian effort that we do. And so our organization, we brought it all together, and we decided to work on being able to help with shelter, with water purification, water storage, emergency communication, emergency power, solar power, first aid, and most important, light. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see on your homepage here you've got buy three and we give these three. I guess it's the what is the light here that you've got your promo you got on the homepage here
So one of the things that we'll be running through PrepperCon is buy three give three, and in partnership with Hybrid Light.
Hybrid Light, yes.
If you purchase 3 of the Hybrid Light HL 160s, it's a 160 lumen light with a solar panel, and a USB port in it. We'll donate 3 flashlights to a project that we're working on right now in Ethiopia.
Now, they'll also charge other devices, correct?
That's correct. So last year we took over 100 small solar panels from Goal Zero and the Lighthouse 250. So they had a way to have light and to recharge it from the sun out in these remote villages.
That's cool. Now, one of the things I love about the hybrid lights that you guys are giving away, those charge in low light and building light. It doesn't matter really. As long as you've got a light source, it's charging. That's awesome. It's so practical, and they're easy to use. I've actually got one in every car, and it's one of my staple lights that I use.
And it's a lithium battery, so it'll once it's charged, it'll basically hold its charge for 10 plus years.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Well, then it's
so one of the things that we've always tried to do is we have an engineer as part of our staff, and we take products. I was a firefighter for 15 years. I still do search and rescue and some tactical medical things. And we take all of our products that we sell or offer in our classes. We take them out in the field, beat the living daylights out of them, and then if they meet our standard, then we offer them as part of our organization.
Nice.
That's a great testing, yeah.
So it goes through a pretty rough testing ground before it ever hits your website. Now, tell me about you. So you do search and rescue. Tell me, with all this background and experience in helping other people with being a firefighter and everything else, how important do you think it is for people to be preparing this at this point in life?
I think it's really, really important. Early on, I was part of what's called a DAT team, a disaster action team with the Red Cross. Mm-hmm. And I grew up on the East Coast, and so hurricanes were a way of life. Everybody prepared for hurricanes. Everybody had a 72-hour kit long before, the big promotion of 72-hour kits. And now FEMA's talking about 96-hour or 92-hour kits and being ready for more. But we believe that it all starts with that 72-hour kit, because you can use your 72-hour kit in your car, you can use it in your home, or you can use it on the go. Just recently in California, I was listening to a video clip of a lady. She said, the water was coming. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to grab. I started grabbing stuff and realized it was the wrong stuff. And then I had less than 5 minutes to get out of my house after that. And so one of the classes that we teach is called What to Grab in 5 Minutes or Less. And it basically works on have your 72-hour kit, have a map of your area, have your contacts, put all those things together, and every member of your house knows where they belong. And so that if anything ever happened, the fire department knocks on the door and says, hey, there's a flood coming or there's a wildfire coming, you have 5 minutes to get out of your house. You grab whatever you can, starting with number 1 on that list, all the way down to number 20. And you've decided as a family what's the most important things in your house. And then that way, when you guys get out, you work together with your communication plan and you get together. Everybody knows if I could only grab 5 things off the list, guess what? They were the most important 5 things to our entire family. Nice. Instead of, well, I grabbed a ton of toilet paper and I totally forgot our important documents.
Well, that's funny because, we Shane and I have different feelings on the 72-hour, 96-hour kit. Like, for me, it's always minimum a 96-hour kit, right? But it's not, I don't like a lot of the basic kits you find out there. It's got a lot of little things that really don't help, and they're just kind of dead weight. And so I like that you have a class about it to help educate people what's the right thing to put in there and then what's the right thing to grab when you go. Because a lot of people will spend time running around in a panic and get 1 or 2 things, and a lot of things that aren't necessary, but only 1 or 2 things that really matter that help.
Yeah, and the important part about that plan is it's actually written down. Like you say, when you're in a panic running around, you can grab that list. Okay, you grab these items, you grab these items, or they're already assigned which each person is going to grab on their way out the door. So you can do that in 5 minutes or less and grab those most important things to you, whether they be sentimental or actual things you need to survive, like your food storage or whatever it might be. So I think that's fantastic.
And so that's one of our most popular classes, and then our other most popular class is called How Your 72-Hour Kit Will Kill You. And that basically focuses
we like that
on
topic.
exactly what you said, Scott, was, a lot of people buy a 72-hour kit off the shelf at Costco, and it's really not a 72-hour kit. It's full of food and water. And those things are great. However, my experience in search and rescue and several other areas is that it needs to be tailored to what you're doing. And, the rule of survival is the rule of 3s, and you have to find shelter or be able to have some type of shelter in your kit and build on those things. And if it doesn't, you end up being one of those guys that we find that didn't make it.
You see, we're not the only ones that talk about the survival rules of 3. Other people do, so that's validating us, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Our listeners hear us talk about this rule of 3 all the time, so they're very well versed. First rule is shelter, and everyone in Utah is, well, I shouldn't say everyone. The vast majority is so focused on food storage that they forget shelter, they forget water, and that those completely outrank your
food storage.
And they also forget, well, if I'm buying all this freeze-dried food, do I need any water for it? Of course you do. You need tons of water.
You need extra water.
You need extra water. You need your regular drinking water. You need your sanitation water. And then you need your rehydration water for your food. So your food's going to be thirsty. But, yeah, absolutely. Your bug-out bag or your 72-hour kit, if you just go buy one at Walmart or Costco or any of the big box stores, really the idea in it is they're throwing a bunch of crap in there to say, ooh, look how prepared you are, and they sell it to you.
Yep.
And I've tested a lot of that, and it breaks, and it's useless. Or the paracord that's in it is really not paracord. It's just twine used for hanging up your laundry, and that's about it. What you want
or you catch the bag on the door.
And the whole
rips open.
Because it costs a whole $2 for that bag.
Or the zipper pops off, and now you can't ever close it again. I mean, yeah, you want a good, durable bag. You want good, durable equipment that you've used, that you are familiar with, but more importantly, that you're testing and that you're learning and you're understanding how to use everything. And I think that's what I like about your classes and what you guys do. Now, are people going to be able to get kind of a consultation while they're there in your booth on what to get and what not to get?
Absolutely. We'll have some things that are going to be there at the booth. One of our main product lines is Bare Bones, and we'll have the Bare Bones outfitter tent set up and all decked out. And we'll do some things there at the booth as well as have everything out on the table. And like I said, one of our main goals is to educate people on what they have. Because the last thing that we want people to do is take this stuff home, put it in the closet, never use it, never try it, don't know how it works. Because you can have the best thing in the world, but if you don't know how it works or how to use it in an emergency under stress, it's super important to know how those things work. And the kind of the tricks of the trade, and those are the things that we share with our customers, and hopefully they'll get things from us, but if they don't, we're okay with that because we know that they're educated on maybe the products that they already have, and so that's important to us.
Now, if I remember your previous booths correctly, you have a fair amount of solar products as well.
We do.
So when I look at your name, Zero Impact Living, living lower, smaller footprint, lower impact, as in less from the grid, more self-reliant living. Is that kind of what you focus on? Tell me how kind of solar power ties into that.
Part of our mission is the Zero Impact name is our motto is prepare today equals zero impact tomorrow. And everybody has a budget, hopefully, and one of the things that we talk about too is financial preparedness. You can't just go spend a ton of money and then now I can't feed my family right now because I spent all this money. So one of the things that we are able to do is help out in all those different categories, and one of them is solar power. We have several different solar companies that we use. One of the biggest ones, best known out there, is Goal Zero. We've been with Goal Zero as a distributor since almost the very beginning, and they're kind of the gold standard in solar power. And one of their things that's really good that we'll have at the show is their new Yeti. It's a solar generator that's a lithium, so it's a lot lighter than the Yeti series that we've had in the past. And we can run everything from your cell phone, or going back to search and rescue, my radio, my GPS, my inReach satellite communicator as part of my communication plan, all the way up to laptops, and then even a refrigerator or deep freezer. And ours that we have set up with solar panels, most of them will run a refrigerator for 12 to 24 hours, and we have it set up so that if need be, our deep freezer was the most important to our family. Our kids can eat everything out of the refrigerator pretty quick, but the deep freezer
can't most kids do that?
Yep. We could use everything out of the refrigerator pretty quick, and so we can run our deep freezer indefinitely based off the solar panels and the Yeti that we're running.
That's awesome.
Now, did you have to kind of choose that freezer appropriately, or is it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So all refrigerators and deep freezers are not created equal. The more energy efficient you have an appliance to be, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, the less money you're going to spend on the solar side.
Right. The example that I use is a 75-watt bulb from your house. The Yeti 150 has 150 watt-hours of power. So if you have a 75-watt bulb, it will run for 2 hours. But if you use an energy-efficient bulb, for example, one of the ones from Goal Zero, it has a 1-watt setting. So now instead of it lasting 2 hours off 150 watt hours, it'll last 150 hours off of that same battery pack. So the more efficient your appliance or what you're using is, the longer it'll last, the better opportunities you have for the future.
And then you're not going to drain those batteries as much, so it's going to be easier to charge the next day as well. So like you're saying, you prepare today for zero impact tomorrow.
Well, it's not just zero impact on the environment or what you're using. It's zero impact on your life.
Yep.
And that's what we really want to focus on with PrepperCon and with Prepper Talk Radio is help people become more resilient, and so that all the disasters that happen aren't such a big issue. Mm-hmm. You know, we diffuse them before they actually happen. So thank you so much for being on with us today, Sean. Now, for anyone that wants to check out your stuff early, where do they go?
ZeroImpactLiving.com, and the zero is spelled out.
Perfect.
And then we'll have everything at the show, and a lot of the discounts we're offering are 10, 15, even some of them are up to 20% off for our packages.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, and we will see you at the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You're listening to Prepper Talk Radio. We've got a fun segment coming up. Next week, we're going to be on Monday and Tuesday from 2 to 4, as well as our Friday slot from 10 to 11 here on K-Talk AM 630. And as always, we're brought to you by Survival Medical. That's survival-medical.com. Tougher than nature, and it'll last you 20 years. Welcome back to Prepper Talk Radio. This is our last segment of the day before the weekend, so make sure you're listening in, tuning into what it takes to get yourself prepared, and do something this weekend to help your family be a little more prepared. So we are brought to you by Survival Medical. That's survival-medical.com. Dude, I'm geeking out. PrepperCon is 14 days away.
2 weeks, dude.
2 weeks. Jeez. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from right now,
it's kind of like Christmas coming around.
We'll be opening the doors in 15 minutes of PrepperCon.
That's true.
2 weeks and 15 minutes from now, we'll be opening those doors. So make sure you go to Prepper Talk Radio. Follow us on Facebook. You'll see our links to the PrepperCon pages. But if you go to preppercon.com, you can actually buy your discount tickets, get your whole family squared away. Kids 12 and under are free.
And, of course, don't forget about ktalkmedia.com. Our archives are there. You can listen to our old shows. And as Scott said, next week we're going to be on for filling in for from 4 to 6.
Yep, the afternoon
Monday
segment.
and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. So we'll have a lot of vendors bringing on. We're also going to be talking deep dive into the 72-hour kit myth. Mm-hmm. What's going to kill you and what won't kill you. So we're going to talk about that. But I'm excited about our next guest. We're going to be talking big, huge, giant trucks.
You know I love trucks.
We love getaway vehicles. We love military vehicles. And so without further ado, let's bring on Tom and Dan from Plan B. Are you guys there?
I am.
Awesome. Who do we have? Is this Dan?
This is Tom.
This is Tom. Okay, so we got Tom still. Okay, so Tom is one of the owners of Plan B. Now, you guys are... I don't know how to describe you guys. I'll let you describe you guys because you're freaking awesome, first of all. And you guys are loaning us one of your Hummers to drive around. You've decked it out with PrepperCon, so people can come see that at PrepperCon. But what is Plan B?
Well, my wife calls it a load of testosterone on wheels.
That makes sense.
She says you walk into the shop and smell the diesel, where she can smell the testosterone as well.
That is awesome.
Diesel and testosterone.
That's right. But basically what we do is we take a very good restored military unit or a unit from the military. We try to pick the ones that have been upgraded by the military or rebuilt in recent years and then restore them for the public.
Now, you don't just restore them, though. Like, you guys deck them out.
We're getting better at decking them out as, we keep creating new products for the vehicles, more problems to where, hey, what about this? If we get into this scenario, what's the best product for us to use? And so we're getting better at some of the products that we built for them. So, like, you take the Hummer, we build our own doors, tops, backs, wagon backs. We just came out with the wagon back now. We have the slant back, things like that, to make to accessorize them a little bit and add some better products than you can get than when the military releases them, which is with no tops or doors or, at best, soft tops and doors.
So I guess to better explain for our listeners what you actually do, you take these, I don't know if they're actually surplus vehicles, but you take these Humvees and these big 6x6s. I remember what they call the Deuce and a Halves. You take these big old military vehicles, and like you say, you restore them a little bit, make sure they're working right, and then you deck them out as a bug-out vehicle. I mean, what's the main purpose of these Plan B vehicles, and is that why it's called Plan B?
Well, it is. Initially, I mean, Dan and I are both preppers at heart, and there was a segment of our marketing campaign that we wanted to address the preppers. I mean, the guys in the oil fields who use these rigs or out in the mines, you know, they are not going to care that the business they're buying from says Plan B supply versus, you know, John's heavy-duty trucks or something like that.
Right.
You know? But a portion of our marketing goes specifically for that because, one, we are that. That's what we're about. We want to help people get ready and be prepared in that realm of if something happens. We're giving someone an option of, you know, you bought that giant tent, and you can either fill your whole pickup with it, or you can buy one of our trucks and be able to have plenty of room for all of your other
Put your entire house in it.
Exactly. Well, at least the household items that you need to survive. You know, throw all your food and your camping equipment and fuel and other things just on the back of the truck and then roll.
Well, and it's not just preparedness, though, is the thing I like about it. Like, these are expedition vehicles by the time you're done with them.
Exactly. And that's what most people, when they buy them, even the Hummers, you know, a couple guys out of Houston just bought a pair of them, and they flood every year. You know, it's like, I need a vehicle that if flood comes, I can drive in 3-4 feet of water, 5 feet of water, with be able to get through it. The 6x6s can do the deeper water easier, but they wanted the Hummers they were dual purpose. They wanted a rig they can drive around and take their family out, you know, camping once in a while and stuff like that. But on the other side of it, if something really happened, they wanted something capable enough to actually meet their needs.
And I think that's the thing that makes the most sense to me. Like, the first time I actually rode in a Hummer was in Florida, and it was back in 1998 after a hurricane. The guy that owned it, his was the H1. It was not the military version. It was the made for the streets version. Okay. So it had a different engine, but he had upgraded everything. Like, he had snorkels and everything, and a winch on the front, a winch on the back. And he's like, I bought this so that for the next hurricane and the next hurricane after that and the next hurricane after that, I can remove stuff off the road. I can get to my neighbors to make sure they're okay. Like, his purpose wasn't, I'm a prepper. His purpose was, this is the crap I deal with on a yearly basis. Let's make sure everyone's okay in my neighborhood. And that's what got me excited about you guys, is that's part of your mission, is just, let's get people the coolest vehicles that actually work in the worst scenarios.
Right.
And I guess that's one of the reasons why the military has adopted all of these vehicles in the first place, right? To get you through the toughest of situations, because you just got to get places sometimes.
Right, exactly. And no matter what, you know, if it's water, if it's bushes, if it's trees, no matter what, they can go through them.
Now, I guess no matter what, when we talk about maybe the events of the day, with certain events becoming more likely, like an EMP of some sort. Yep. I guess that's one of the major advantages of I guess, I don't know if it's all your vehicles, but most of them are resistant to EMPs?
Yeah, and that's what's neat about these vehicles, you know, more so on the older ones, as you get in the Deuce and Halves, the 5-ton era vehicles, very EMP resistant. There are a couple diodes. We always, you know, our customers come to us for advice on how, if they're preparing for an EMP, and we'll throw in an extra alternator, and we'll throw in a couple extra things so that if they're exposed, that, you know, they'll have the appropriate gear to get through the EMP. As you get into the newer vehicles, the LNTVs, the MTVs, they are a lot more electronic controlled.
Okay.
You know, Allison transmission couldn't go away from not having them computer controlled, and so eventually they had to go that route. But they still did everything they could to harden it, to cover it. Everything's in a steel box. You know, like if you look at the starting control module on a Humvee, it sits up underneath the dash, which is, you know, the whole body's aluminum, so it's all covered in metal, and then the box itself is completely covered in metal. So, I mean, they're doing everything they can to minimize the risk of an EMP attack. Is it foolproof? No. So that's why we suggest, well, the best case, buy an extra starter box, and you'll be fine. So we go through those scenarios with customers who, depending on what they want to prepare for. Mm-hmm. Some are just the unknown. A lot of it's just like, hey, I need a rig that gets me from here to there. Some, like the guys in Houston, they flood every year. It's just regular for those guys in certain areas. Louisiana, right there in that Gulf, someone's going to flood every year no matter what. We went down and took the rigs down to Katrina a few years ago Wimberley, and they got 1 trillion gallons of water that went through that little town and destroyed everything.
Now, we've seen the videos of that. We've seen the videos of that on your website where you guys kind of showcased you going down there, working with some of the other groups down there to help provide relief. I think that's what really got me interested in what you guys are doing, because I'd heard about you. I've known about you guys for years. But I think that video is the one that kind of said, wow, it's not plan B, when the crap hits the fan. It's plan B of whatever happens, right?
Right.
Plan A is always, hey, we're good. Plan B is, here's what we're going to have to do to deal with that. Right. I also think plan B, okay, it was a military vehicle. That was plan A. Now it's a public vehicle. Plan B is to give these vehicles a new life. So if you're one of those tree hugger, green, eco-friendly people, you're recycling, right?
Right.
There's an argument for that. You're recycling. Yeah, it's diesel. Diesel's dirty and messy and loud, but it's also longer lasting.
But it's really not as unenvironmentally friendly as some would have you say, because you can take vegetable oil, you can take other oils and turn them into a biodiesel and actually run them in these diesel engines.
And that's the thing I love about, especially a deuce and a half. One of my goals in life is to get a deuce and a half. I want to bob it. I want to deck it out. I want to change it, and I'll be obviously coming to you guys for that when I'm ready. But that is kind of my that'd be awesome vehicle, right?
Right.
And you guys could do that. You can customize any of the vehicles that come in, right?
Right, and we do. To bob it is fairly simple. We just did a big extended cab truck where the cab went from being 3 feet, just a normal cab space, to over 10 feet. And literally it has 2 benches in the rear portion of the cab that lays down flat as a bed.
Wow,
it's like a king-size bed. The whole rear seats behind the front seats lays down into a bed.
Now you're talking about the big deuce and a half.
Yeah, it was a big 5-ton.
Okay.
Deuce and a half
even bigger.
Right. The newer 5 tons, usually there's a change in a motor. When people refer to a deuce and a half, it's the 1960s, 1970s.
Right. Okay.
M35 truck.
It's a newer version.
They still have deuce and a halves today. The LMTVs, they're a 2.5-ton vehicle. But when anyone refers to the deuce and a half, it's always the older vehicle.
Yep.
But the 5-ton came in after the deuce and a half because they stopped making really that 2.5-ton usage. They needed 5-ton usage. Everything went to that heavier axle, beefier motor style truck. And they kind of made a one-size-fits-all and went away from the deuce and a half until the newer models.
So to me, it sounds like they had to go big so you can go home, right?
Yep, exactly.
Well, with military use, they want to make it as versatile as possible. And so for us, that's a benefit because now we can take that vehicle and you guys can tweak it out however we want to. So you guys have done extended cabs. You guys have done box trucks. You've got the big
campers, the
camper truck expedition with an extended cab and a cargo rack. I don't think I've seen anybody else doing what you guys are doing specifically with these vehicles. And for people that are like, okay, what are they talking about? What is your website for them so they can see it, and how can they get a hold of you guys?
So our website is planbsupply.com. And anyone can go there. They can go on, click on the contact us. Our phone numbers and everything are there. They can email us through the website. The phone number that they could call is 801-438-7637.
Awesome.
So tell me about this 8x8 you've got.
Well, they come in 2 different versions. One is a het, which they already have a king cab. They were the Abrams tank hauler. And then they have what's called a Hemet, and it's an 8x8. It has 2 front steering axles. And usually those have a big flatbed on them. They're used for, there's a crane on the very end, on the back, and they're used for, picking up pallets. So very heavy equipment. or items to put on the truck and to put on them. And they have a much larger payload than, say, a 5-ton, or more like an 11-ton.
Well, I'm sorry I got to cut you off.
Rigs.
We just ran out of time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for being on with us. Plan B Supply, check them out. They're going to be at PrepperCon. And for all of you guys wondering, what is PrepperCon? It is the world's largest preparedness and survival expo. It's a convention. It's going to be fun. We got survival stars. We've got classes. Check it out, preppercon.com.
Hi, this is Rod Meldrum inviting